What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing? This is Sports with Ray. You know what? It's been a minute. Just want to check in with people, see how everybody doing. A little time off, had to get some things together. You know, little planning of how I wanted it to go with my strategy because, I love doing this, but, my main podcast that I really want to do is the Ray Rob Report, which is what I started first. So what I'll be doing going forward, y'all see it on my pages and everything, will be more. I'm just going to be snippets. I'm not going to name any more episodes as far as with the sports version, but I will continue to create content. It will be Sports with Ray. It'll just be, things that are happening around the sports world that I'm interested in kind of bringing forth to the light, or, any concerns or any kind of my thoughts. Any thoughts I may have, I'm going to kind of do it like that. And then the Ray Rob Report, which used to be the Ray Report, but it will be rebranded properly as the Ray Rob Report, will be more frequent. As far as weekly, more diverse, but it'll probably be more content as far as with the sports. It'll be little things here and there. Whenever I feel like saying something, I'm just going to hop on here. And it'll be on my link page, and it'll be on my YouTube page. So just want to, it's been a minute. Thank everybody for rocking with the kid, And if it's your first time paying attention to me, hearing who I am, peep what I say, not how I say it. I drop a lot of jewels. It just come from my perspective, my angle. I feel like I'm very knowledgeable, and I try to be as unbiased as possible, but I'm also petty. So there's the mixture. All right. So it's been a couple weeks since I've been on. So let's talk about a couple things. First thing is the NBA playoffs. The NBA playoffs has been surprising, to say the least. Congrats, shout out to Denver. Denver was who they said they were. They were the number one seed, arguably the best team all year. Ran through Minnesota. Ran through Phoenix. Ran through the Lakers. I thought they were going to fold. I'm not going to lie. I judged them the same way I judged Utah. And also, I haven't seen them be successful. But a good reason why they haven't been successful is because they haven't been healthy. And so I gave other teams the benefit of the doubt that I thought were more accomplished. Or had more credence. But truth be told, Joker, ever since it was said that basically, he was gunning for a triple-double, it's almost like he just said he didn't care about that, and he was just going to prepare for the playoffs. And he's been running and tearing through everybody. And it's not funny, but I know DeAndre Ayton, I'll get to him another time. That dog that you're supposed to have in you, it's a little chi-wowie, wowie, wow, you know what I'm saying? Whether it's him being, Anyway, but I'm bringing up DeAndre Ayton and Anthony Davis. When they played the last two times, when LA played Denver in the bubble, there was a difference because Jokic was being guarded by Howard and also being guarded by JaVale McGee in addition to Anthony Davis, so they had multiple bodies to run through him when they beat him. When Joker lost to Phoenix the year they went to the finals, no, that was the year after. DeAndre Ayton played him really well. He played him really well, Or that might have been the year they went to the final. He played him really well, and then it just looked as if Joker just said, it's my time. Big revenge tour package. And he not only showed he was the best player on the floor, he just showed he was the best player on the floor by far. Even though KD was on there, Even though he had stats, he didn't have a great postseason as far as how it looked. Like, he had times, but so much attention went to him. I understand. The same way that Steph had so much attention and freed KD up is the same way KD got so much attention and freed Devin Booker up. Because Devin Booker had a historic run, and he had to have a historic run, and KD had to score like 30 points for them to win 2 games. And all the while, Joker hit them with the 50-piece. Averaging a triple-double in the playoffs. He's just been dominant. And the lack of defense that we've been saying, or that's been stated that he doesn't have, he has not been exposed. He's been actually an asset. He's been He's been the most physical player. And then with Aaron Gordon, their team is just playing well. Him and Jamal Murray played a 2-man game the exact opposite way that Tatum and Brown play. Terrible. Is Tatum and Brown with the 2-man game. Excellent. Murray and Jokic. It makes them unstoppable. So they ran through the competition. They pretty much are saying, I don't know what you guys thought, but we're the number 1 seed. And Jokic is like, I finally got my guys healthy. So what y'all gonna do? And they ran through. So they're undefeated at home. So shout out to them. And then you got Jimbo Buckets. Himothy Buckets. Hemi Butler. If he were to, I would argue one of the best runs. The best run, well, there's a few, but to me, the best run that I could think in recent memory in the playoffs was when Dirk won the championship. He went through OKC, San Antonio, he went to OKC, swept LA, San Antonio, and then ran through Miami when he won. That was a cold run, but Jimmy Butler being the 8th seed, beating the 1 seed in Milwaukee. Giannis was injured, even when Giannis came back. And how he did it, how I've never seen anybody destroy. I've seen KD score on Drew Holiday. But what Jimmy Butler did to Drew Holiday, and he was just talking reckless to that man while he was scoring, and it was nothing it was nothing you could do besides just go ahead and throw punches at that point, because it was a dog walkage. It was a slow dragage. Like, it's like the ref, like in the WWE when they try to stop the fight and the dude just keep on beating down the person and everything. And the announcer's like, somebody help this man. This has to stop. It was bad. It was bad. You know what I'm saying? And then they beat the number 1 seed 4-1. They beat the number 5 seed 4-2 New York. I didn't think New York was better, but I thought they might have had a chance. I didn't think Miami was going to make it this far. And then what they did to the Celtics, even though the Celtics almost made history. Jimmy and Caleb Martin has come to play as well, but people have been asking the question, who's the best player, who's looked the best in the playoffs. And if you say Jokic, I can't be mad at you, but to me, it has to be Jimmy Butler. Because Jimmy Butler is imposing his will. Jokic is imposing his will as well, but the way Jimmy has imposed his will with a quote-unquote lesser team and to dominate and mind beep these higher seeds, where it's just a real fear when he decides to just get on his Jimmy buckets. It's a sight to behold. And if he happens to win, this has to be like one of the he'll easily have the most impressive playoff run ever. When you beat 2 number 1 seeds, a number 2, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? And the 2 teams that they beat were supposed to be the quote-unquote NBA champion. Because for the majority of the year, most people felt that the winner was going to come out of the East between Milwaukee and Boston. Now, we know injuries and things change that. We know Jason Tatum got injured in Game 7 off the first play. We know Giannis didn't play for 2 games. But you know what? They lost Tyler Hero. Victor Oladipo, they've had injuries. Gabe Vincent, he got injured. They still won. And so, it's gonna be a sight to behold. I mean, if I have to pick, my heart wants to see Jimmy get one. My mind is telling me Denver's gonna win 4-1. So that's my prediction. We'll see how that goes. I'm hoping for a great series. Basketball-wise, it could be real good. Like somebody else was saying, like the physicality of Miami, nobody's really pressed Miami. I mean, pressed Denver. As far as that fit, like they're going to play 40 minutes the whole way. 48 minutes, excuse me. That nonstop effort. Like, you know, the Lakers were the best defensive team in the playoffs, but they're terrible in transition. And you saw continuously, time and time again, that Joker was beating Anthony Davis down the floor. Bam is not as good as Anthony Davis, and I know he's had problems with Jokic, but that team collectively plays hard. So you're not going to out hustle them. And that hustle alone, that's going to cut off some of those easy fast break points that they've had throughout the playoffs. But as I said, I see it 4-1. I hope I'm wrong. You know, this could be a moment of, you know, Jokic being the best player of the league. I still believe it's Giannis. But if you want to say it's Jokic, you're not going to get an argument from me at all. Because this is how you shut people like me up. Not like he was playing to shut me up or anything. But this is when you take any kind of doubt out. Like, what you mean? This is what I do. And he'll almost be doing the same thing that Giannis did. Giannis won 2 MVPs in a row, had failure. The year he didn't win was the year that he won the championship and finals MVP. Jokic seems to be taking the same path. So that's pretty dope, man. Salute. Let's switch to another sport. Boxing. I would try that again, yes. But listen, I'm a boxing fan. I'm a big boxing fan. I have a lot of fight parties. Whether it's me alone at the fight party, or a few people would have come through. I love my boxing. And over the last month, we've been treated to some good boxing. The first one was Tank versus Gervonta Davis, a.k.a. Tank, versus King Rai, a.k.a. Ryan Garcia. And it went how I expected it to go, meaning that I expected Tank to win. But, you know, Tank impresses me. Because sometimes you got to use the KISS acronym for geniuses that don't know. The KISS acronym is Keep It Simple, Stupid. Sometimes you just gotta keep it simple. He wasn't over aggressive. He counterpunched and he capitalized off of Garcia's mistakes. And Garcia came in aggressive, reckless, not having experience with a big fight, and Tank has. And Tank floored him in the second. You know, Ryan, after that, you could tell, wasn't the same. Of course, they said he might have injured his ribs or something like that afterwards. I mean, during training camp or something like that. But Tank was just a better fighter. He knew what he needed to do. So he didn't have to do anything too crazy. You know. And then in the 7th round, he hit him with that body shot the same way that Bernard Hopkins hit Oscar with that body shot. And it was almost the same delay, except for Ryan's was a little more dramatic because he walked back about like 10 feet and then couldn't get up. So definitely an impressive win by Tank Davis. You know, there's nothing wrong with Garcia losing either. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's a loss. At least you got in there to fight. That's cool. Shakur Stevenson fought the month before. He was impressive. That leads into the next fight. I'll get to Shakur Stevenson in a second. And then we got, Vasily Lomachenko, a.k.a. Loma, versus Devin Haney, who is the unified champion, who won those belts from George Kambosos. I like Haney. Haney is a very good fighter. Him and Loma, they don't really have a lot of power. They're more technicians. You can see that during the fight. A very controversial ending. Of course, if you don't know, unanimously, the fight was given to Devin Haney. Some people, I watched the fight, as a lot of people did. I mean, a lot of people were saying the body shots that Devin was hitting, Devin was definitely connecting with the constant body shots. But the majority of people that I seen comment that, I don't know if they're biased or not, but if you saw what I saw that the more accurate and cleaner puncher was Loma, and the person that was getting flustered more was Devin Haney. Now, Loma has a history of starting off slow. So, and even the early rounds, it wasn't definitive. I mean, if you wanted to give a few rounds to Haney, or a couple rounds, but I wouldn't have said like all 4 rounds would have went to him like at the beginning. And then Loma came on. He usually comes on after the 5th or 6th round, and then he turns up the volume. I mean, it was basically supposed to be kind of a coordination fight for Devin Haney, saying like Loma's a little older because, Loma's fought almost 400 amateur fights, and, he's 35, and then, he was fighting in the war to take care of, of Ukraine and all that. And so we get that. But I think he won decisively. I feel he was the clear winner. But also, both of them are on top rank. And I saw this before when Manny Pacquiao fought Tim Bradley. And Manny dominated Tim Bradley Jr. And then they went to the scorecards, and somehow Bradley won the fight. And we know Manny was they said Manny would have money troubles or whatever. I just know that was a big bomb Arab special. So even when Devin Haney won, he looked shocked. And then they made sure he wasn't going to get a rematch. Loma wouldn't get a rematch. You could tell Loma was dejected. That was, if anything, I would have taken a draw, but not a unanimous. Devin did not clearly win that fight. He knows he didn't clearly win that fight. And then you got Shakur Stevenson, who popped in the ring, coming off his impressive win after his first fight. He was light heavyweight or whatever that shit's called. Now he moved up. He moved up from 130 to 135, and he was impressive. He carried his power with him, which is pretty impressive. I think Shakur Stevenson is very talented, but to me, until somebody beats Tank, and even with the belts, I didn't think Haney. I feel like Tank is the top lightweight. He's faced better rec. He's a bigger draw. He's been in the limelight, but he's faced stiff comp that he's made kind of look bad, and then other people come and fight them. And then after they've already taken that L and they're not as confident, and then it makes them it makes Tank look as if his competition at the time wasn't that good. Now, I mean, there's things that Tank can work on, of course, because I feel like sometimes he relies on his power, but he shows he's able to adapt to a lot of different styles, and he can take a punch. And that bodes him well. That's not going to help, when you get older, you want to elude, but he's willing, because he's usually the shorter fighter, to take a punch to impose his will. And a lot of but he's on PBC with Al Heyman, and then Shakur, Loma, and Haney are on top rank, which is the issue. But if they want it, they can make that fight happen. If Haney and Stevenson fight, I'll be cool with that. I just, for some reason, don't feel like that's going to happen. And then if that's not going to happen, and then also Haney wants to move up to 140 because he said he's had problems, reaching that weight. But if he goes up to 140, I mean, and he's not hitting with power now. What is he going to do when he gets hit with harder shots? Because he was getting rocked by Loma. His face and everything showed it. His breathing and everything. I mean, but sometimes, when you get in a tough fight, I get it. It happens. So it was a good example. Good lesson. Good fight, I hope they keep the fights like this coming because, this next fight that we've been clamoring for, thankfully, the lightweights had to show them how to do this so we can finally get these two in the ring, which is Errol Spence versus Terrence Bud Crawford, which is the fight of all fights, which is what you want to see, a.k.a. you is me. I can't wait for this fight. They should have fought like 3 or 4 years ago, but boxing likes to do that build up. Errol's like 33. Spence is like 33. Crawford's about to be 36. So they're getting it right at the kind of end. And I seen some of the interview that Terrence did. I mean, I saw a snippet of what he did on $1 Million Worth of Game. Shout out to them. Great podcast, by the way. And that reasoning he gave, saying that he fought better comp than Errol Spence, was just laughable. And I like Terrence Crawford too, man, but it just made me, I was like, man, who are you trying to get to buy that bullshit? I don't, you know what I'm saying? Because you try to say Kell Brook, had to do the rehydration clause and he had to come down. Kell Brook was undefeated at that time. I understand Mikey Garcia, when Errol Spence fought him, he came up 2 weight classes. I get that. I don't feel like people say that when, that's right, because Kell Brook went up 2 weight classes to fight. Was it Canelo? No, that wasn't. No, that was Amir Khan that did that. But I mean, Kell Brook, when he fought Errol Spence, Kell Brook was the favorite. Errol Spence was the underdog. And then, and he was giving Errol Spence work too, but Errol Spence is just so relentless that he just wore on him. Errol Spence just wears on you. And then, he's had the accident, the car accident, then he had the eye injury, and he's come back even more ferocious. And them body shots, like he ain't going nowhere, you know what I'm saying? And Terrence is very skilled. Like, I feel like if you want his skill, you can say he might be a little more skilled, like more technically sound than Errol Spence. But Errol Spence has so many different ways of how he can wear you down. And I've seen Errol Spence as far as in a battle with him and Porter, with him and Garcia, man, like Terrence ain't fought none of them dudes, man. Like all of it, and then Keith Thurman be ducking people, but anyway, and he should fight Bones for real, but he don't want to. But I just feel like I'm not going to get my prediction on the fight right now. The fight is July 29th, so we'll have more on it, and as we get closer to the date, I'll go ahead and give my rundown and have who I think is going to win, and whether it's going to be like a knockout or a decision or anything like that. But I'm just happy that they both fighting, and they didn't do the Manny and Floyd. They almost did, but they're able to get it off, and I'm excited to see. And there should be more boxing setups that should come after this. That's one thing that I like about the UFC. The UFC, when they have Dana White gets them scheduled. When Usman lost, he fought dude literally about 5 months later. When the Stylebender lost, he fought dude 5-6 months later to get his get back. Like, you're not waiting 4 years, you know what I'm saying? So I'm excited for that. I'm excited. We'll see how that goes. Training camp. Well, mini camps are about to start in a little bit, I'll keep an eye on that. Any kind of news that we'll have, that I feel like reporting will have, college football, the season's about 2.5 months away from starting. I'll get into more detail as we have that as well. I just wanted to come on here and just touch base with y'all, see how everybody's doing. Hopefully everybody had a great, couple weeks, holiday weekend, because my weekend was phenomenal. My 5-day stretch, I was outside. I was here, enjoying, frolicking, as they say. the frolic package was phenomenal. So, but you know, if you need the social media handles, just in case you want to look at previous things or just want to look at some of my comments or how I go about it, man, my name is Raymond, but they go by Ray Rob, REIROBB 97. You can find that on all handles, from Instagram to Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok, and on my Facebook page is the Ray Rob Report. Excuse me, I said the Raymond. That sounds like a hotel. Yeah, you want to stay at the Raymond? But the Ray Rob Report. But until then, man, salute to everybody, man. Hope everybody's having a great day, great week. And let's keep pushing, man. And there's more content to come.